Hi, my dear viewers. Welcome to another lesson. It is about origin and development of writing. Origin and development of writing. So, writing is nothing but the physical manifestation of a spoken language. It is thought that human beings developed a language 35,000 BCE as evidenced by cave paintings from the period of Cro-Magnon man, which appears to express concepts concerning daily life. This early writing was called cuneiform, which consisted of making specific marks in wet clay with a reed implement. The writing system of the Egyptians was already in use before the rise of early dynastic period, and is thought to have developed from Mesopotamian cuneiform and came to be known as hieroglyphics. The phonetic writing system of the Greeks, from the Greek phoneme, that is to speak clearly, and later Romans, that came from Phoenicia. So this is the cuneiform, example of cuneiform, that is writing on the clay mold, wet clay mold with some pointed thing. They draw some patterns, signs, that is called cuneiform. So how writing was invented? So that is Sumerians who first invented writing as a means of long distance communications. And it was necessitated by trade with the rise of cities in Mesopotamia. And the earlier form of writing was pictographs with symbols. It represented objects that served to help in remembering things like parcels of grain, which parcels of grain had gone to which destination, which place, and how many sheep were needed for the sacrifice in temples. So these pictographs were impressed on to wet clay, which was then dried, and that becomes the record of what has happened earlier. This is how the pictographs were made and came to exist. These became the official records of their trade. This new means of communication allowed scribes to record the events of their times, their religious festivals, their religious beliefs, and later to create an art form that was not possible before the written word, that is literature. The first writer in history known by name is Mesopotamian priestess Ihudwana, daughter of Sargon of Akkad, who wrote her hymns to the goddess Inanna and signed them with her name and seal. This is the first recorded writing that 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 is found in 2285 to 2250 BCE. And the next one is the Epic of Gilgamesh, considered the first epic tale in the world and amongst the world's extant literature, that was composed in 2150 BCE. It was written down and deals with the great king of Uruk and Gilgamesh and his quest for the meaning of life. Next came the alphabet. The role of the poet in preserving heroic legends would become an important one in cultures throughout the ancient world. The Mesopotamian scribe Shinligi Unini, who helps preserve and transmit the Epic of Gilgamesh. And in such a way, in Greeks, Homer does the same, and Virgil does the same for Romans. In the Indian epic Mahabharata, which was believed to be written down in 400 BCE, preserves the oral legends of that region in the same way the tales did. The legends of Scotland and Ireland also in the same way recorded. All these works and those which came after them were only made possible through the advent of writing. Now, what is pictograms? Cave writings are called pictograms. Cave writings, which were made at least 20,000 years ago, are to clay tokens from about 10,000 years ago that appear to have been an early attempt at bookkeeping. These artifacts are best described as ancient precursors of writing. So the pictograms. Some of the pictures found in cave drawings came to represent images in a consistent way. It is to describe product as a form of picture writing or pictograms. The earliest examples of pictographs include ancient or prehistoric drawings or paintings found on rock walls. They communicate a number of tongues, language families, and road signs and similar pictographic material are often applied as global standards, expected to be understood by nearly all. So example is given here. So these are all examples for pictograms, and we could understand the meaning, what the picture symbolizes in recent years. Okay. Our next one is ideograms. Ideogram is a graphic symbol of idea or concept. They can be straightforward pictograms or abstract. Sometimes pictograms are concrete symbols, while ideograms are abstract symbols. It is comprehensible only on the basis of prior conventions. Examples of ideograms may include wayfinding signs to airports, to the railway station, in bus stops and bus stands, and other environments where people may not be familiar with the language of the place where they are in. So where you may find ideograms. The distinction between pictograms and ideograms is essentially a difference in the relationship between symbol and the entity it represents. The main difference is pictograms represent concrete symbols, while ideograms represent abstract symbols. The more picture-like forms or pictograms, the more abstract derived forms are ideograms. So these are the examples for ideograms. So Roman letters, the Chinese character for earth, and Roman numeral for 3, number 3, and the wheelchair access sign, and the biohazard sign. That is, these are all ideograms. Example for ideograms. Next one is logograms. Logograms are commonly known as ideograms or hieroglyphics. The relationship between the written form of a symbol and the object it represents has become arbitrary. graphic systems or logographies include the earliest two writing system. So the first historical civilization of the Near East, China, and Central America used some form of logographic writings. So what is logogram? We will see here. So this is logogram. We know that it is first one is Twitter, second one is Apple, third one Nike. So logograms. So these are all examples for logograms. Next one is robust writing. That is quite interest way of writing, and also it seems very funny way of identify another word or another concept altogether. So robust writing, in this process, the symbol for one entity is taken over as the symbol for another sound of the spoken word, used to refer to that entity. So for example, இது என்ன robust writing அப்படின்னா one image, another image, ரெண்டு இமேஜும் சேர்த்து இன்னொரு ஒரு entirely different word நமக்கு ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணுவதற்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணும். So that is called robust writing. Then I am going to give you some example also for that underneath. So if you see that, and you will understand what is robust writing. So you could play game on robust writing too, if you know that, what is that. So here, this is the example of robust writing. So look at the picture here. You see a can, and then letter U, and then letter C. So what does it mean by? So when you see that, it's a can, letter U, and letter C. That means can you see? So the picture conveys that is entirely another set of sentence. Okay, can you see? Next line, you may find a single I, and then the sign art in sign, and then you. So what does it mean? So that is I love you. Okay, so have you got it? What is robust writing? So it is very quite an interesting way of understand the pictures in a different way. Okay, what it conveys really. That is robust writing. Next one is syllabic writing. So syllable. So that is the minimal distinct unit of a sound, that is a syllable. So when a writing system employs set of symbols which represent the pronunciation of a syllable, it is described as syllabic writing. So what is syllabic writing? That is, any word in English, it can have a vowel and consonant. Both vowel and consonant can create a word that is called syllable. Okay, syllable. So one vowel can constitute a syllable. For example, a. Okay, a, I. That is one letter, but the sound is vowel sound that constitutes a syllable. Okay, so in such a way, came. Here you have C-A-M-E. There are 4 letters, but sound you have K, A, M. K, A, and M. So that is 3 sounds. K and M, the initial and the last sound, K and M, both are consonants. The middle sound, that is vowel sound, that is A, K. So these 3 sounds constitute one syllable. Do you understand? So if you look at the picture that I am going to show you in the next slide, you are able to understand. So here, this is spelling syllables. Basket. So wherever you have vowel sound, that is marked in yellow square, and consonants are marked in blue square. Okay, so Basket. If you have two vowels, that word has two syllables. If you have three vowels, you have three syllables. If you have one vowel in a word, you have one syllable. Okay. So you look at here, you have in this word basket, you have two vowels. That means you have two syllables. Okay, that is called syllabic writing. Next one is alphabetic writing. So the most widely used alphabets are Roman, Arabic, and Cyrillic. It is the script of their heritage of print and of international communication that is used by 6 of the 12 international languages of the world. What are those 6 countries? That is French, Spanish, German, English, Italian, and Portuguese. These are the international languages. They use this alphabetic writing. And next one is written English. The spelling of written English was very largely fixed in the form that was used when printing was introduced in 15th century England. So spellings are fixed only during the printing machine was invented and introduced in the 15th century England. At that time, there are so many conventions happened regarding written representations of word that is usually derived from other languages. So English is not a only language. It is the language. It borrows many words from neighboring languages. So in such languages are Latin, French, Greek. So used in writing other languages, notably Latin and French. So moreover, many of the printers were native Dutch speakers and they could not give accurate decisions about English pronunciations. So there may be an impact of their native language. Do you understand? So that is how English came into exist, borrowed from various languages of neighbors. Okay, that is how written English came into exist. So with this lesson, origin and the growth of English language, we understood through this presentation. I hope that you it is very helpful for you to know how the writing came into exist, origin and the development of writing came into exist as English language of present day. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I will meet you in another lesson with another time. Thank you so much.